Hey there, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. In today's video, obviously I have a cool little Clapton lick. This is taken from Crossroads. There's a couple of really interesting and unique things about this lick, and they're things that would probably not be immediately obvious. The first of them is the fact that it comes from the major blues sound. And I get a lot of people asking for more licks that utilize the major blues scale. So first of all, if you're not, I'll say, hip to the major blues scale, it's truly the same as the minor blues scale, except for how we choose to look at it. And I know that might sound a little bit crazy, like how can you just look at it and have it be a different thing? But truly, it is that simple. When I play, let's take box one, right? And I start on A, and I play A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C. Same notes over and over and over again, right? Well, those are also C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, which is the C major pentatonic scale, okay? So the way I like to look at it, if you're familiar with, I'll say, the second box, a lot of us know box one, but there's also a second box, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and that takes up the entire octave. So I like to use box two starting on my root. I do not like to use the 3-fret rule that is common. People say, well, just take the root and you need to go down 3 frets and play there. Yeah, but now I'm looking at the wrong root. I don't want to look at the wrong root. And that's a whole other topic of conversation. But I want you to look at the proper root, right? A is our root, so I want you to look there. Okay, so I've got 5, 7. The blue note is the C natural at the 8th fret, and that's relevant because you're going to want to use that a lot. It could also be there at the 3rd fret of the 5th string, right? C sharp, E, F sharp, A. B, C sharp, C natural, C sharp, E, F sharp, A. Now here's the thing. A lot of times you will see a note from the minor pentatonic scale brought in alongside the major pentatonic scale. In this particular lick, it's going to be that note, okay? Now, why can we do that? You may have heard me say this in the past. If you're playing over an A7 chord, you can use notes from both the A minor blues scale and the A major blues scale. If you're playing over a D7 chord, you can take notes from a D major pentatonic scale and a D minor pentatonic. Pentatonic and blues being functionally equivalent here. Okay, so if I'm playing over an A chord, as I am, technically speaking, notes from the major blues sound or the minor blues sound are all fair game. Now, you might think, well, how about if I just play them all? Because it sounds like this. We don't really want that. Typically, what you'll find is something will be sort of all major except for that one note or two notes, or it might be all minor except for maybe one or two notes. When we tend to bring in a secondary sound, we always want to do it sparingly. We always want to have our primary sound. I always say that the secondary sound is a little bit of sugar, right? A little bit of seasoning, a little bit of spice. It's good, a little bit. It's never good if you do too much, right? So in this case, we're going to have that sound, but you're going to see that note on, it's the 4th of the scale. It's the 7th fret on the 3rd string. You're going to see that note pop up. It's not uncommon, by the way, for the flatted 7th, the G natural. Right, so you'll see all these major blues notes, but then you'll see that flatted 7th, that G natural, which comes from the minor blues scale, but gets added in commonly to the major blues sound. I hope that kind of makes sense. Now let's look at the actual lick, okay? So what is not immediately obvious about this, first of all, is that it's actually just counts 8th notes. It counts very simply. Those first two notes are the E to F sharp on the second string, and they happen if I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? It's 2 16th notes happens in that one count. But here's what's kind of cool. I'm gonna kind of almost play this as like a chord. So when I do that hammer on to the F sharp, I'm gonna hold that down and strike the A above it. See here, I get that double stop, then I'm gonna hit the F sharp below it and then the A above it again. Okay, so I'm barring my first finger at this point because the next thing I'm gonna do is strike the 2 5s and hammer on that F sharp. And again, it kind of goes in eighth notes. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 is gonna be just the 5th fret on the second string now. And then again, while I'm kind of still holding that, I'm gonna grab that D below it. And remember, that's the note that's gonna come from the minor sound. The rest of these all come from the major blues sound. And from there, I've got my bar across the second and third strings because I'm gonna do a little hammer on. So I'm gonna play the 5th fret on the second and third strings, but I'm gonna hammer on my middle finger to the 6th fret. So from the minor third to the major third. And remember I said earlier, when you use the major blues sound, it's really, that blue note is really important. You're almost always going to precede this major third with that minor third. I call that bluesifying the third. It's a huge thing. It's everywhere. So be on the lookout for that. And then I'm gonna jump down to my A. Okay, so let's do just that much. So 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the rest of it is going to be minor blues sounds. So this is a good way that we kind of combine the two sounds. And this is again all eighth notes. D, E, the 5th and 7th frets on the 5th string. G natural to A, 5th and 7th frets on the 4th string. Now for a whole beat, 3 and, we're going to hold that C natural, which is very much from the minor sound. Beat 4, I'm going to pull off from the D to C and go back to the A on the and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice how we're gonna go, we'll do the whole lick now nice and slow, and notice how it's gonna go from one sound to the other. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the first step is to get that down, count it out loud. I don't know why it makes a difference, but it makes a difference. You probably, again, heard me say this a million times. If you've heard me say it once, if you count out loud, there's something about your own ear hearing the sound of your own voice. It just makes it work better. What I would now want to do is I'd want to start playing it over some sort of a track. Now, Crossroads is a very, very fast but straight feel song. Okay, so I would probably bring this down into something nice and slow but straight feel into my looper, kind of like this. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and. Okay, so once you kind of got something played in, let's bring the tab back up and let's play it with that. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, play through that a few times, put in a little bit faster jam track. And I say jam track, just play something a little faster into your looper. What you want to do is get used to playing this at a variety of tempos. But there's something else you could do too. Since we're dealing with all eighth notes, okay, we don't have any 16th notes. So we could very easily play this in a swing feel, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So what I did is I just took, instead of, if it was on 1, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty straightforward, right? I can play things in a swing feel as long as there's no 16th notes. It's hard to play straight 16th notes over a triplet-based feel. Is it impossible? No, not by any stretch. You can absolutely do it, and it sounds really cool if you do, but it's hard. So until you're really good at counting and feeling different kinds of rhythmic constructs, I don't recommend trying it. But obviously I can play it over a swing feel. So it could be a slow blues, it could be a faster blues. Of course I could totally change the key, right? If I don't want to play it here over A, maybe I want to play it over a D. Right? I can chase chords with this. So if I wanted to do something like put multiple chords into my looper, obviously I need like 2 bars per chord here, but let's say I did like a regular sort of full-blown blues. 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. Now we'll go to the D, back to the A. Now I'll go to the E, but I'm going to stay there for 2 bars instead of going down to the 4. Back to 1. Okay, so 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. Next one's D. Back to A. Right? Let's go up to the E. 2, 3, 4. It works, right? I mean, it's a longer lick. So it's not always going to work exactly perfectly like that all the time, depending on what you're working with in your individual situation. But I just want to point out, this is how you learn licks. You can't just real quick memorize it and go, okay, I got it, and move on. Try these other things with it. It will make all the difference. Okay, so hopefully I've given you some ideas, some things to work on, some things to play with. And as always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. If you have guitar playing friends you think would get something out of this video, I hope you'll share it with them. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.